Hello everyone, this is Hoarder Gamer with another Raid Chat Legends Champions lore. Remember to subscribe this channel, share and like if you enjoy this video. Today we're going to talk about Altan, a barbarian. Altan is a Jotun of fire. Jotun are a rare species, for they are slow to breathe and solitary by nature. They are commonly associated with cold, mountainous areas because their extraordinary physiology can withstand the frigid temperatures. In fact, their tolerance for harsh environments extends to other extreme habitats as well, as Jotun, such as Altan, sometimes reside in scorching climes. On the eastern edge of the Krokan Desert lies the rugged Downmounts range, and among its peaks is an active volcano whose flanks are barren slopes of superheated ground, dotted with fumaroles. Known to the Krokan nomad clans as Red Grandfather for its magma and ruddy mineral-rich rock and soil, Altan made it his abode long ago. Unsure of where to settle, he carved divination runes into a fallen tree trunk and then hurled it into air and decided its course based on where it pointed when it fell and what runes were visible. Over centuries of life on volcano slopes, Altan's body adapted to the blistering heat and noxious fumes, his skin becoming as crimson as a mountainside. He would often stare for days on end at the mesmerizing sight of the slow bubbling flow of lava, searching for mystic insights in the patterns of glowing red molten rock and darker cooling stone. He raised totems of obsidian daubed with volcanic mud to honor the fire spirits he felt certain dwelled within the mountains. By these esoteric practices, he cultivated a great magical affinity between himself and the forces of fire and lava. He grew to need food and drink but little, meeting his needs with infrequent expeditions into the desert or the adjacent mountains where wild sheep and yak might sate his hunger. The local nomad clans only encountered Altan on those rare occasions when the Jotun ranged from his home every so often down 2 generations. Tales of Altan spread, especially at the interclan moots where nomads from different regions compared their sightings. In time, they recognized that these glimpses of the red giant were clustered near the volcano called Red Grandfather, so the nomads associated the two. They began to call Altan the Jotun by the name Red Grandfather as well, and see him as the volcano's guardian and personification. As knowledge of Altan spread across Krokan, brave folk attempted to search for his home on the slopes of the Red Grandfather. Many tried and never returned, but the Krokan nomads persisted until eventually Altan came across the ragged remnants of an expedition that had ascended his sulphurous peak in search of him. They were on the verge of death, succumbing to this vicious heat and searing vapors, but they did not die. Old Altan restored them to life, channeling an ancient healing warmth he had gleaned from his long days of meditative communion with the fiery arts of the mountain. He was not so hermetic as to let them die to preserve his solitude, and he was curious as to why they had braved the brutal volcanic conditions. Altan drew a magic circle to protect the nomads from further suffering from the heat. Conversing with them, he learned that he was known among the Krokan peoples. He was intrigued and felt a faint, satisfied pleasure learning that he was an object of fascination and mystery. Altan Blade, the warriors returned home and recuperated. He told the nomads that if they wished to come back and speak again, They should spend more time training and adapting to the harshness of the ephemeral fields so that they could better tolerate the volcano and thereby begin to understand its power and wisdom as he had. The nomads returned home and spread the news of their encounter. Within a year, an encampment of warriors, shamans, mystics, and folklorists had formed at the foothills of the Great Grandfather. Seekers of knowledge and wisdom would ascend as high as they could bear as the heat and number of sulphurous vents increased with altitude. Day after day, they trained their lungs to cope with the scorching air and their bodies to shed the terrific heat. They found that the higher up the slopes of the volcano could climb, the likelier they were to be visited by Altan. The fire Jotun would praise the supplicants for their efforts in impart some of his wisdom before sending them back to cool down and reflect on their sufferings and their newfound insights. By this ascetic practice of mortifying their bodies in the volcano's heat, fighters claimed to acquire incredible toughness and stamina, and sages were said to experience visions and strokes of geniuses. The practice became a local spiritual institution, and Altan, a quasi-religious figure, himself the Red Grandfather of the volcano,